Innovation Academy there. So today I'm going to talk about my latest piece of research, which is green infrastructure assessment of Galway City. I'm often asked to clarify what green infrastructure is, so I've put a definition there on the screen. So it is an interconnected network of green space that conserves natural ecosystem services, values and functions and provides associated benefits to human populations, as per NOAC. Here I've come to give you a background on where this research came about and how. So it's largely accepted that urban environments are struggling to remain sustainable in the face of climate change and other such challenges as urbanisation, and it's widely recognised that green infrastructure can solve many of these problems and enhance the urban environment. And as a result, along with colleagues from the Geography Department at GCD, we created a 1 kilometre buffer over 6 cities within Ireland, and we also included Dublin as well as the 7th. And we wrote a paper on that termed the ecosystem services that was quantified using iTree Canopy software. So as you can see here on the underneath here, we have Belfast, Cork, Limerick, Galway, Derry and Waterford. And we took a 1 kilometre radius within the city centre, and we quantified using iTree Canopy software the amount of green infrastructure within the city. The reason we chose the location of the city centre was because it's where most people congregate daily, and it is where a large number of pollutants are also hovering over the city, so it is rendering people exposed to pollutants. So as you can see, I think Derry really was the most city that had green infrastructure with 37%, and Dublin was rendering one of the lowest at 9%. So what we wanted to see was that green infrastructure would be distributed more evenly across the city. So what's novel about my research was how Galway had never been looked at in its entirety. So I decided to look at that as part of my research. So my aim and objectives were to assess green infrastructure in Galway City's urban environment with regard to the city's development plan, to assess the environmental benefits of green infrastructure and create an inventory of green infrastructure in Galway City that had never been done previously, and that would help to put in structure a plan to make sure that green infrastructure was even more evenly distributed across the city to ensure that all citizens could avail of the benefits of the resource, and also to exemplify the benefits of green infrastructure in Galway City by combating climate change, pollution and attracting biodiversity. So again, what was novel was the study was the first of its kind to assess the environmental benefits in addition to the percentage of green infrastructure in each of the 7 Irish cities. And in Galway City, it had only ever been looked at, as I said previously, the 1 kilometre radius within the city centre, so I assessed its entirety. Prior to that study, there had been no management strategy of green infrastructure conducted across the city, and an inventory of green infrastructure in Galway City was compiled to support the management of the resource and fill the gap in knowledge. So I used a mixed methodology using iTree Canopy tools. First of all, I uploaded a geographic boundary file of the area. I created land cover categories which included trees, non-trees, shrubs, grass. We really emphasised the trees because they're larger and they can take in more pollutants, and they can also sequester CO2, and they can store some carbon dioxide as well. So trees were particularly of interest in this study. And we also looked at the rate of green infrastructure, or grey infrastructure versus green infrastructure. So we carried out 20,000 points using random sampling from Google Earth images that were cut up and used in tiles format. And then I went out on fieldwork and I looked at 3 study areas, including Salt Hill, Eyre Square and Well Park. I had interviews with planners, park attendants and engineers in Galway City Council, and I compiled an inventory of green infrastructure and broke down the composition of trees that I found within the study areas. So the benefits of green infrastructure to the environment, they improve air and water quality, they absorb excess rainfall as a consequence of climate change in non-permeable regions particularly. It develops biodiversity, reduces pollution from vehicle emissions, masks noise, wind and other forms of pollution, and it enhances the environment in its entirety. So the findings, this map here depicts the distribution of trees in Galway City following digitising using iTree Canopy software. So this map is particularly interesting because you can see here there's a collection of green infrastructure here, which is a wooded area in Merlin Park, and over along here again to Salt Hill, this area here, which is largely protected. It's a special area of protection and a special area of conservation. So you can see areas surrounding the centre of the city could do with improving the volume of green infrastructure. So that was one of my findings. So I proposed to do that through green roofs, if the infrastructure was correct to allow green roofs to be put in place, and also just even more potted plants or pop-up trees within the city that come mostly during the summer. Here I created another map using our Tableau Public, and this is an interactive map, and what it included was a combination of information, existing data that I collected from iTree Canopy's software tools during my research, but I co-joined it with census data from the 2011 census, which would have included the electoral districts throughout Galway City, the population of the region, and the percentage of trees. So as you can see, the larger areas there, such as Barna and Ballyban, they had the most amount of trees in the area and the largest amount of people living in the area. So they were quite wealthy, but as you can see around Nuns Island, Ballybridge, and Lough Atholia, there isn't such a high volume of trees, so it actually disadvantages the citizens in the area. So there, again, would be an area that could be enhanced from green infrastructure. The findings, again, the tree species I found in fieldwork locations in Eyre Square. The main ones were beech, oak and red alder. I carried out 710 trees, inventory were put into the inventory for 710 trees rather. In the G Hotel, cherry blossom, alder and coral were found to be the most popular, and in Salt Hill, mountain ash and ash, sycamore and lime. So again, what I also did was I carried out a buffer examination of all the road cacheways in Galway City. So this would indicate whereabouts the trees were in location to the road. So this would ensure that if there were more trees located along by the sides of the road, they would take up the pollutants, particularly from vehicle emissions, and that would also mask wind and noise, and that would also help the citizens to live in an area that was much cleaner. So future research and implications. A deeper analysis I found of the species composition in the remaining areas of the city would improve the research, and I also found recognised the need for green roofs and green walls to enhance Galway's urban environmental area, especially in lacking area, vegetation areas, or the special protected areas and special areas of conservation, particularly around Salt Hill, where it's very coastal, it's very exposed, and there's a lot more precipitation in the area. Trees are finding harder to survive there, and a lot of them I found were very windswept. So it would also be better for the people in the area if they had maybe more willow trees found in the area as well. So in conclusion, my aim was to assess green infrastructure in Galway's urban environment with regard to the city's development plan. Future research and implications again were a deeper analysis of species composition in the remaining areas of the city, and green roofs, green walls to enhance Galway's urban environment, especially in areas that were lacking. So there I have a bibliography, and I also put on the link there for Tableau Public. I have all my maps and graphs there if anybody wants to have a look at them. So if anyone has any questions. 3 months. Yeah, 3 to 4 months. Yeah, I carried out an analysis of 710 trees across the city. That was just in 3 regions. So there's quite a lot more. Yeah, I was allowed help. I had some there. We measured the canopy width, the diameter of the tree. We looked at the health of the tree species, and just in general what locations in the health. So there could be each as well. Yeah, that's very interesting. No, not. That's actually something very interesting now that we found that, yeah, trees, particularly seasonal trees, that's an issue where if we had more deciduous trees, or it would be better because you'd have them taking in the pollutants all year round, but when they're not, it isn't a disadvantage to the people of the area and the environment. So I found that, yeah, it would be better if we had more deciduous trees. Thank you.